You know, I probably need to get a jingle for this. And I don't know. You might have to make one for me, But I probably need to get a jingle for this segment. It is called the secret ingredient because this is the Saturday stew, and in the stew you have all kind of ingredients, but there's one particular ingredient that makes the stew a certain way that day. And today, that secret ingredient is you, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you have heard his music before. Some of you have seen his face before. Now you get to meet him for a moment. And I need for you to go and make sure you're in the chat room, because we're interactive over here on Reggae Global Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on Reggae Global Radio, I introduce to you the Reggae Global Radio Artist of the Month of December, Koriq. Welcome to Reggae Global Radio, brethren.
Excitement and applause. What going, man?
Yeah,
Even Stu, what's happening, bro?
Yeah, man, a whole heap of excitement and applause and thing because initially when we had arranged to make this happen, you weren't yet
Yeah.
the Reggae Global Radio Artist of the Month.
Right.
So, congratulations to you, brethren.
Yeah, man, respect, man, respect. I mean, I try to sound like my cool and thing, but it really is a big deal. It's a huge deal. Reggae Global Artist of the Month. Yo, if I'm Reggae Global Artist of the Day, I'm happy.
Jasmine says, greetings, my good friend Koriq. Music.
Yeah, man, big up Jazz. Jazz.
Blessings, Jazz. Welcome. Welcome to Reggae Global. Listen, now that you've come logged on to Reggae Global in the chat room, you're no longer a stranger. So don't be a stranger. Koriq.
Yeah, man.
Why? This journey has been something else.
Indeed.
And again, I want to congratulate you first of all for being Reggae Global's Artist of the Month of December.
Yeah, man. Once again, thank you very much.
And first thought when you got the news.
Come again?
First thought when you got the news that you were Reggae Global's Artist of the Month.
Well, I'm no stranger to Reggae Global, so we know as the name suggests, this thing is global. So as I said to you earlier, if I were Reggae Global Artist of the Day, it would be a big deal. Now I'm Reggae Global Artist of the Month. Yo, that is huge, man. That coming like next step Grammy. Yeah.
What were you doing when you got the news? What were you doing when you got the news?
I was in my studio just doing my thing, creating music, earning a living, just doing what I do.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
When did this music creation thing start for you?
Huh. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The whole story started when I was 7. When I was 7 years old, I started playing keyboard at 7, and got my first music lesson at 13. I don't know why them take so long for start teach me, but And shortly after that, I started, what would be the foundational work of producing music. It's a funny situation. There was a karaoke machine in the house, and it had a double deck cassette.
Yes.
So what I would do is I'd plug in my keyboard into where I'm supposed to plug in the microphone, and I would play something on the keyboard and record that to cassette. Move that cassette to the other side, put in a new tape, and now I'm recording 2 tracks.
That's right.
You understand, with a karaoke machine that was not really designed for that.
Necessity is the mother of invention, boy.
So I will tell you, say, when I realized that I could have two tracks, I was like, okay, let's try three. And so I was producing music on cassette tape with my keyboard. And of course, with cassette, every time you pass, the quality is diminished. So
Right,
after a while, I
right,
realized you couldn't have too many tracks going.
right.
But that's where it started, man. The production thing started right there when I was like 13, 14 years old.
Jeez. Did you know that was what you were doing? That is what that was called?
Yes, sir. I was just having fun, man. I had no idea this would turn into my life. It was just having fun.
Oh, what spurred your interest in music? You just picked up the keyboard and decided that you just wanted to play it?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't recall there being anything that sparked an interest. Um, it's like what attracts a boy to a girl? What attracts magnet to steel? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Who knows?
Right,
That's
right.
just the story with me and music. It's just music was there and I was interested, and that was that.
Yeah,
So it's not the most exciting story, but it's the reality.
well, that would pretty much be the story that I would tell. So you and I would be boring alike.
Yeah.
but but
Yeah,
you've had quite the music journey. I remember I first heard of Koriq. Mm, let me see now. I was working at Mutual Life,
wow.
and
Whoa.
and this was actually before I met you. As
Yeah, yeah.
as 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 working at Mutual Life, or around about the same time, and I miss Andrea Hines. You remember that name?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Andrea would talk about Koriq being this phenomenal keyboard player,
Wow.
and then my cousin started.
Sorry, but let me interrupt you real quick. But say, at that time, I didn't even realize that Andrea knew who I was,
Really?
and it wasn't until much later that I realized that she had so much respect for me as a musician,
Yes. Yes,
because
Bridget.
she was always surrounded by the greatest people in music. You know what I mean? All the great musicians, Othniel Lewis, you know what I mean? All
Mm-hmm.
these wonderful musicians were always in her company. So I didn't know that she would even know such things. So this is news to me, and why? This is great news.
It was through her that I first met Johnny Clark and Benji Myers.
Seeing, seeing phenomenal musicians again.
Yeah. And she herself is amazing. Perfect
Oh
pitch,
yeah.
a
Yeah, man. She's
phenomenal
the first
ear.
person I knew. She's the first person I knew who actually had perfect pitch.
Amazing. And to think she
Mm.
she she never wanted to really just go out and pursue a singing career. But I don't know.
She pursued a support career because she supports
Yeah.
so many
She
artists.
supported so many. Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I heard your name from her, and then my cousin started going to school of music,
See.
and who knew that you two would be friends, along with Jador.
Mm. Jador. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I was like, look at these guys. And
Yeah.
but I never thought that you'd have gone on to do some of the things that you've gone on to do. And for the sake of the people that are listening in that don't know Koriq, so that was 98 thereabouts.
Give him an age now, brother. Give him an age now.
No man, that don't give a nothing, man. So roundabout there, between then and now, what has Koriq been doing? So we know that you were at School of Music.
Mm-hmm.
As so many of our great talents coming out of Jamaica have been.
Yeah, man.
What
Well, sorry, go ahead.
what have you been doing since School of Music back in the 90s to present? Just give us a quick run through.
Yeah, well, that whole production story I gave you earlier actually followed me to Edna Manley College. This is before they had any courses on music production and music technology.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I always been making music. Um, while I was at Edna,
Right.
I was primarily a piano student, but I fooled around with drums. I did a short stint and a minor with bass and vocals. Um, and of course, while we're there, um, I started playing for different gospel artists. Many of them, and then I got a more regular stint with Sandra Brooks that lasted for a few years. And then after that, we kind of started to explore the wider music industry. So I started touring with Queen Ifrica, Tony Rebel, Luciano, Bushman, whole heap of artists.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually landed a gig with Taurus Riley and Black Soil Band, which
Nice.
which is my longest running gig. I was with Taurus Riley for like 12 years.
Wow.
And then
It was
here
that
I
long?
am now.
I didn't even realize it was that long.
Hello?
Yep. Oh. Oh yeah. I didn't even realize it
Am
was
I
that
there?
long. Yeah, man. I didn't even realize it was that long that you were with Taros.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's been a
No,
Because remember, though, when I started with Taurus, She's Royal was a brand new song.
now you are giving away your age.
Ah, yeah, true. True.
It's all right. They can't tell just by looking, and the picture that they're looking at right now on Reggae Global Radio, they would never be able to really tell that you're a man of many moons,
That's it. Dog of my years ain't no pup.
right?
Yeah,
So, all right. So you were with Taros for a good 12 years,
yeah, man.
and then what? Because you're not still with the Black Soil Band.
No, my time with Black Soil has expired. So,
Okay.
move on. While I was there though, I somehow got the inspiration to start singing my own songs. So, I had my studio set up and I started recording some music, and people like what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I get my little bright self now and try to coerce management to give me an opening spot on the show. So when we were on tour, the last I think we toured 2016 in Europe, and I was the opening act, and it was quite an experience. I learned a lot. Started developing my stagecraft on that tour.
Mm.
Um, started developing as an artist on that tour. So of course, we can't tell that story without, giving special big up and thanks to Tara Riley, Shane Brown, Dean Fraser, Ali, and the entire Black Soil Massive, because them opportunities they don't come cheap. You know
Yes,
what I
yes,
mean?
yes, yes.
And it was given to me graciously. So we give thanks.
Nice.
But yeah, since then I've been seeking out opportunities to perform, and I try and at this stage in my career I don't miss an opportunity. Anytime I get a chance to sing, I sing and drop material so people can hear. Because right now all I want is for someone who has never heard of Koriq to be introduced to my music and hopefully become a fan.
Well, I can tell you, as soon as we're done talking, I'm going to be playing a series of Koriq tunes. And I'm not even
You know
talking
what I
about
mean?
tracks that you have produced. I'm talking about with other people. I'm
Yes,
talking
yes.
about just Koriq as the artist.
Wow. Well, give thanks, man. Give thanks.
Because,
On Reggae Global.
yeah. The interesting thing is that I've been gracious enough, I've been blessed enough to have received tracks that you have produced that have
Yeah.
other artists on them. and also
Right.
your own tracks. So
Yep.
I consider myself rich in that aspect.
Wow. For having music, I worked at. Boy, I give thanks, brother. You're good for my ego tonight.
No man, nobody can talk to me, you know. What?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, it's interesting too because I've recently come to the decision that I really need to invest in my own uh production. What I mean, not even so much Koriq as an artist, because that goes on, that never stops.
Right.
But in terms of my production work with different people, collaborations, and just general production work, I've decided in more recent times to invest more in that. So a lot more to come from hardcore production.
Who is an artist that you aspire to work with? Whether it is production or collaboration.
Mm. To be honest with you, I'd be happy for any opportunity to work with any other artist that um well I look up to pretty much every artist still.
Mm.
But there's no one in particular that I say, boy, I want to work with this artist or that artist. Really and truly, my focus has been on just improving my game as an artist.
Right.
However, there are a few artists, many artists that I look up to, and if I had an opportunity to work with them, I'd be ecstatic. Like people like Damian Marley,
Yeah.
people like um, great writers, people like Chronix.
Mm.
But I'm an addict of lyrics. I love lyrics. I love clever lyrics and rhyme schemes and things. People
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Tanya Steven,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
People like Kabaka Pyramid, people like Protege, you know. Even sing it too. Terrence Riley, of course.
Yeah.
I love lyrics. I love just the construction of ideas with lyrics. So anybody who have that kind of style, I mean, Eminem, if we can get a collab with Eminem, it's over.
Have you reached out to
Yeah,
him?
I mean, nah, son. I haven't even tried, man. I haven't even tried.
It only takes a trial, you know.
That's true.
Send,
That is so true.
send the man a
Absolutely right.
message.
I saw me end up being the opening act on a European tour.
There
You
you
know what I
go.
mean?
There you go. If you don't ask,
True.
how you going to get?
Never happened.
Yeah,
Yep.
a closed
You're
mouth
right.
never gets fed, brethren.
True. You're right, man. And them says the squeaky wheel get the grease. So.
Right. So reach out to
Yeah.
the man. Suppose now, here it is. He could be there saying, this Koriq, you would kind of have something going on. It would be nice to do something with him, And then you could reach out to him and say he was just thinking about reaching out to you.
Yeah,
Reach out to the
nah, man.
man,
That
man.
life is like that. Life is full of those moments. So I agree with you, man. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, man. Reach out to him. Reach out to him. So
See,
I have a portion of tracks here from you. Um, I don't even know when it was that I had gotten the very first track from you. I don't know. I have tracks like Party Vibes, All Woman, So Freely, Guilty
yeah, man. You're talking
Eyes.
about from the beginning, bro. That's from the beginning.
I Feel Your Love is one of my favorites that you have.
Wow. Give thanks, man. Give thanks.
Because I was very close to my mother, and when she transitioned some 12 years
Yeah,
ago, this coming February, I couldn't even travel down for the service, the memorial
yeah,
service.
yeah.
But
Wow.
the love.
And you know what's interesting about that song though?
Mhm.
Um, it's what you call a mama song. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And for me, I never set out for just write a mama tune. What I wanted to do with this one was be very personal about it. You know what I mean? So like if you've never met my mother, if you don't know anything about how me and my mother relate, listening to that song can give you
It
a
paints a picture.
pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because like for example, you notice I never use the word mama in the song. Because I don't call my mother that.
Mm-hmm.
I call her mommy.
Yeah.
So in the song, I refer to her as mommy because that's what I call my mother. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. Right.
And there are true stories in the song, like when I say, many lessons that you taught me, they won't be forgot. You know, where you go? The lyrics go. Proverbs 1 verse 10, mommy, you teach me that if sinners entice thee, content thou not. A real something. When my mother heard that, she did drop her ground. She couldn't believe me put it in her song.
Really.
Yeah, man.
When you're writing your songs, is it that the lyrics just come to you and you just start penning them and then you put it together later on, or you have an idea in mind and you start working around that idea to create your lyrics?
Well, every song has its own process, you know. But for me, I've never been able to just decide, say, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write a song. Every time I try that, I end up with a million ideas that never get finished.
Mm.
So what happens now is, of course, every time you get an idea, you want to record it, put it down on record it on your phone or somewhere, just so you have your ideas. And
Right.
during the songwriting process, you might turn to these ideas. But for me, most of the time, when a song comes, is when it gets written. You know what I mean? So my philosophy is I don't really write songs. The songs are written in the universe forever, and them just come to me when it's time for
When
them
it's
to have a human experience. You know what I mean?
nice, yeah, I like
That's
that.
how I think about it.
Yeah, we can work with that, We can work with that. It's yours,
Yeah, man.
so we can definitely work with that. Um, you have, well, because I expressed it to you before. Um, Let's Do It in Jamaica is another wicked tune as far as I'm concerned, and
Respect, man. I appreciate
tourist
that.
board should be using that to advertise
Everybody said
Jamaica.
that on the damn tourist board walk out. I know.
And I don't understand how tourist board not reach out to you yet. It
I
doesn't
don't
make
know either, brother.
sense. And the disqualification from that festival competition, I am still upset about that. But I know you don't really like talking about it, so I'm going to leave it alone.
I don't mind talking about it at all. The fact of the matter is, I was not available to represent the song at the competition, and they took whatever action they deemed necessary. As to whether I agree it was necessary is a different argument.
Right.
But no hard feelings, man. Everything is everything.
Okay. But as far as I'm concerned, it's still the winning tune.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And it will forever be a winner for me. But
Respect, man.
the big tune at present is Give I Faith. Tell us about that
Yes, sir.
as we wrap up this little secret ingredient segment here.
Yeah, man. Well, right away, I was on tour with Taras Riley, and we went to Kenya. Now, Kenya has become kind of like a second home for Black Style. I
Okay.
mean, Taras Riley and the Black Style Massive is like when we go to Kenya, we're home.
Mm.
Anyway, so we finished that tour. We're back in Jamaica, and about 2 weeks later, I get news that the hotel that we stayed at in Kenya was attacked by terrorists, and people got injured, and it was a traumatic situation for everybody involved.
Wow.
And almost immediately, that song started playing in my mind as an emotional kind of response to what went down. Because we talk about the days them dread out a road around the red, and you don't know if you're gonna make it home. Can you imagine you go to work and you're not sure you're gonna reach home?
Every
There's
day.
road boys and police running wild in the streets, and it feels like a war zone. And you work so hard and can't let down your guard because robbers want to come take your own. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, you can't say all this negative without silver lining. So goodness and mercy will guide and protect us. So we know so we're not alone. But even though I know that, I need faith to go on in this again. And you know the rest of the lyrics.
Yep.
And really and truly, that song came to me as a response to what went down in Kenya. So the fact of the matter is, even though there was a specific event that sparked that inspiration, it is an inspiration that is universal because we all can relate, regardless where you live, regardless what your situation is. Everybody can relate to a song like that.
Yeah.
We all need faith.
Listen, Koriq, that song, the the very first time I played that song, my better portion said to me, "I need that on my phone." And
I hope it's on our phone right now.
I'm like, okay. Because at
Like,
that
yeah,
point, I have no choice because the couch nice and comfy, but it's not
yep. You
my
don't really want
place
to
of
play
choice,
that. Yeah, man, of course, of course.
So, so of course, I'm send on right away.
Of course, of course.
But she heard it and she was like, "Yo, this right here, this is it. This is it."
Yeah, man.
And she's
Let me
a
tell you
real
something,
Berries
man.
head.
I cannot get used to comments like these. Anytime anybody have something like that to say about one of my songs, it just feels like you know what I mean. It's like reggae global artist of the year. Yeah,
Well, you never know. Next year you might get there. You never know.
Well, you just keep putting in the work and see how it turns out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Don't stop. Don't ever stop. How can people get in touch with you and find your material?
Yeah, man. Well, I like to keep things real simple. So, the most complex thing about me right now is the spelling of my name, which is Koriq. And so I can be found on all social media at Koriq Music, Koriq Music. So that's Instagram at Koriq Music, Twitter at Koriq Music, Facebook at Koriq Music, YouTube at Koriq Music, and my email address is koriqmusic at gmail. Koriq Music.
Nice. And Nat says hi, Koriq. Nat's
I say
hailing
hi
up
right
in
back.
in the Reggae Global chat. Hey, Nats, you're no longer a stranger either here, just so that you know. So, Jazzy, Terry, Nats, y'all are no longer strangers. So stick around. What we're going to do, jump into the chat room, Koriq, and you can interact with everybody. I'm just going to run through a series of Koriq tunes.
Yeah, well, give thanks, man. Respect.
And at the top of the hour, there's going to be a 5 minute break on the radio side, but the TV side continues with music. So anybody watching on the TV side, you'll still get to hear the music. But don't worry, those on the radio side, you're not going to be missing out on much because I'll make sure to pull it up for you when you're coming back in.
Yeah, man. Respect.
But Koriq, much thanks, much gratitude for the link. Thank you for agreeing. And again, congrats on Reggae Global Radio
Yeah, man.
Artist of the Month of December. And it's a celebratory month. Yeah, man. It's your Christmas
Can you
present, this.
imagine that? I am here, of course. It's my early Christmas present.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, you don't even, I don't even have to think about you on on my Christmas list this year. Because, money tight already.
No, cross off that. That's sort out.
Yeah,
Sort out.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Blessings, brethren. Blessings. In fact, I'm going
Yeah,
to.
man.
Do I want to start with Give I Faith? Jeez, boy. All right, Koriq. Let me see. 1 minute to the hour. Top of the hour. I was going to let you introduce it, but we're probably going to the break before it happens. But introduce it anyway. Give me one of your songs. Let me run it.
Cool, man. Well, this one is called Give I Faith. You know what I mean? And of course, like I said before, we all can relate to this. So if you feel it and you can relate to it, go into the chat room and make up some nice. Find it right there and share it. Bless up yourself, people. Reggae Global, man. Out.
Much love, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Catch up in the Reggae Global chat.
I've never been the type to link you cause me want this or me need that. But listen to my prayer cause we need you, we mean that. Listen to my prayer now,